ひるんでたらライダーなんてやってられませんよ。俺はみんなを守るために奴を倒したい。
君は戦うことを自分に与えられた使命だとか義務だと考えている。それでは人は強くはなれない。君を動かすものはもっと別のところにあるはずだ。
宝に剣輝く勇気確かに閉じ込めて奇跡切り札は自分だ。
We are halfway through the show now, and we're still stuck within the stupid werewolf plot. And it gets even more stupid, as despite being the one to feed power to the bike to upgrade it, now the bike is feeding power into the undead to make it stronger, activating more of the thralls from its murders? This makes no goddamn sense. How is a technological artifact that requires it take in a source of power, enhancing the powers that the thing it's taking power from? And yes, they specifically say it's increasing his power, not making it more efficient in the use of its power, so you can't wiggle your way out of this. The writing was sloppy in Shoji and Mai's part, but the narrative wasn't so readily contradicting of itself. Characters had clear motivations, plans, and goals. The show didn't just throw stuff at a wall to see what would stick and contradict its own rules. And why? Why does it need this? Also, it can have an edge in defeating other undead. Which at least does make sense. Except he doesn't, as he just removed almost all of its resources from the board once he got the damn bike. He killed his team for more thralls, which are entirely useless to him as they can't use guns in that state. He left the guns back in the pit, so he doesn't have them to shut down the other undead. And that bike's only useful in chasing other undead down. If one gets him off of it, like, say, Orchid using her plant manipulation to use vines to pull him straight off the damn thing, then it's useless to him. And without active backup from any nearby thralls, he would outpace while riding the damn thing, all his supposed advantages would go to naught. This plan is stupid! I mean, say what we will of Daichi the Elephant Undead, at least he actually shows intelligence in biding his time, waiting until he knows more about an opponent before forcing the confrontation, as he's a more idle monster with the power to back up his moves, so no one goes out of their way to attack him anyways unless they're dumb. But the way they show off that intelligence is also dumb.
俺は相手の手の内を知らないうちは戦ったりしない。
Keep in mind, that's Chalice. Another undead who can challenge him right now and potentially beat him. He just made himself vulnerable to attack against another of his kind that normally would show no quarter to any advantage given to them as they are all out for themselves to win. This under normal circumstances would not be a means of breaking from battle as it would be if he were actually human, but a sign of surrender and for the other undead to finish him off while vulnerable. Hajime is being influenced by the human undead, yes, but he is not human. He still plays fully by the rules of the battle fight, just with the additional motivation of keeping Haruka and Amane safe, and has no incentive to not use this moment to seal him, and yet does not. That's not smart from either side. And to add on to people being idiots, Shirai finds Miyuki collapsed from the battle and takes her in to treat her injuries. Yes, he saved an undead who is actively antagonistic towards him and has tried to kill him and others, and yet constantly holds a grudge against Hajime Aikawa for endangering his sister and niece simply by existing. This is hypocrisy on open display, and again in the face of one who has actively and personally endangered and killed people, who would have stopped being a threat to anyone had he not done this, as Hajime would have caught up and sealed her by the show's own admission!
あのまま放っておけば、私はカリスに封印された。
Why? Before the writer change, Shirai was actually reasonable in his actions and motivations. A reporter wanting the scoop of the century, but now he's the dumbass comic relief overly naive dumbass. And yes, I intentionally used dumbass twice there.
でも、怪我した人が倒れていたら見過ごせなかったんだ。
私は人ではない。
分かってる。そんなことは分かってる。でも、自分でもどうしようもなかったんだよ。
That was Kenzaki's thing in episode 2. Not word for word, but the exact same meaning behind what was said. Did Sho Aikawa get a character bio swapped around? Because Kenzaki has the character arc to have actually fucking done this. Kenzaki, meanwhile, finds Shinmei with the bike, amazed he got it back from the undead. They told him he was an undead in the last episode! Yeah, it was fragmented up, but on one's death door like that, it is the moment you have to tell one detail about who did it. That is the exact way you would deliver it, and Kenzaki knows this. Hell, his manner of jumping to conclusions from little information should have had him assume from that Shinmei is an undead, which he is, as the last time he was given that little context to an event, he spent several episodes thinking Tachibana was a traitor. Kenzaki is not much this of a dumbass.
使命さ、今度こそ俺たちで新しいボードを作りましょう。
This is the guy who wrote the good episodes of Kamen Rider Decade. Just let that all sink in for a year. Shinmei tries to attack, Tachibana stopping it and Kenzaki shocked to learn something he already fucking knew. Tachibana having to lay it all out for Kenzaki to get it. Stealing the gun that stops undead, only to learn it doesn't work. Learning that all he has is his thralls and the bike, which as I already explained are worthless against any actual intelligent undead. Why Tachibana even indulged this is he liked the idea of going back to working at a place like Board, where he was most happy before its self-destruction. Even though he spent the first sector of the series angry that they made something that seemed to be killing him. Forget that at all? Except Tachibana doesn't really have ideals, nor does Kenzaki. At least not ones the show has actually bothered to define beyond, I want to help people. Miyuki is finally confronted by Hajime, choking Shirai unconscious, because she can, to allow her free reign, while the wolf undead... And that did absolutely nothing. What the hell? Oh wait, apparently when the pair's rider machine's near it, it forces their bikes off the road and shuts them down, which is not actually shown happening with the other's bikes from how it's shot. But one other rider that wasn't stopped apparently has immunity because he's in the bike's slipstream? That's not how that works. Its energy wave went out in a 360-degree arc. Slipstreams are the phenomena where you slip into the air current behind a vehicle that's already been disturbed, so it's easier to move without wasting as much fuel or energy. It wouldn't protect the bike against an energy wave. But Blaine and Garen catch up again, Blaine getting into the slipstream with the aid of... Why didn't you do that earlier? And as I said, this plan was entirely stupid, as Kenzaki can just knock him off the damn bike with one use of his slash card, allowing Tachibana to destroy the bike with one bullet from his gun, without a single rouse card used. Which also shows how worthless the bike was for that, since, hell, their bikes have taken more damage than that. Whatever, they seal Wolf... Well, Hajime finishes off Miyuki, removing her from the story.
本当にアンデッドなんだな、君は。
なぜこの女を助けた？
分かってる。バカさ、僕は。君のせいだ。
俺の？
そうすれば、君のことも信じられると思った。
Do I mean to say how stupid that is? She has tried to murder him on several occasions. Hajime has protected his family on multiple occasions. And yet, he is still making Hajime out to be the bad guy, even though he just saved his life. Fuck you, dude. This is nothing but straight up character assassination for the guy. Before, he had a legitimate concern for other safety. But now, it's nothing more than him being a selfish douchebag. If you're asked how to turn the most likable character in the show into utter trash, I can just direct them right here. Cause it honestly has done it. To no one's surprise, these episodes did not go over well with audiences, causing a ratings drop from 8.1 to 5.5 of total Japanese viewership. Ironically, this would be where Shoji Imai would come back for his final additions to the series, which attempted to course correct what had gone wrong. Anyways, a strange man arrives at the Shirai residence. This is Noboru Shima, an associate of Karasuma's, who arrived from Tibet with some new information for them.
アンデッドを倒すための方法を日夜研究している。
He went for new information about the undead. They already have a way to defeat them. Mutsuki, meanwhile, falls under the sway of the spider again, showing the arc wasn't completely abandoned, but Sho Aikawa just fucking ignored it. the Spider beginning to use him even while not transformed, as Tachibana notes when he learns they screwed up against Elephant. But Noboru learning of this and thinking that, with the prior withdrawal symptoms, it might just devastate Mutsuki mentally if they're separated right now. Daichi comes to decide that, well, he's learned enough about his enemies, so he can start fighting them now, which plays against what was established about him wanting to wait until he knew more about his enemies and everyone else was beaten. However, it's merely because he's been holding back, which Noboru muses on, as Noboru is not human. But when Daichi realizes what Hajime is, he breaks off from fighting, amused by this truth.
カリスが奴だと分かったからにはもはや敵はいない全て読み切った
Upon meeting Noboru, Hajime confirms for everyone that he is an undead, and in fact the tarantula undead, but he has no intention of fighting? What the hell? Well, it turns out that Noboru, despite the entire point of the battle fight being to allow their own species world supremacy and to supplant any other upon the world, Noboru's seen what humanity's built, and doesn't see his own race as worthy of supplanting the splendor that's been built upon the world, thus has effectively forfeited and become humanity's ally in this war, and taken to the divine wisdom he's been exposed to. This actually explains a lot, as he's apparently the wisest of the undead as the club suits category king. But Daichi decides that it's finally time to strike in full, having seen what everyone's capable of, and from that, finding they're no threat to him. Him entirely crushing Kenzaki in battle, until a bystander ends up hit by friendly fire, which hardens Kenzaki's resolve.
逃げて早く分かった俺の体を動かすのは義務とか使命なんかじゃない
それでは人は強くはなれない。君を動かすものはもっと別のところにあるはずだ。
そこにいる人を守りたいという思い。そうだ、人を愛しているから俺は戦っているんだ。
By announcing this, Noboru has a gift for him. It's upgrade time.
Absorb Queen Fusion Jack.
Okay. How do you instinctively know how to do that? I like Jack form, by the way, as the gold accents are not obnoxious, it increasing Blade's power immensely and prevents him flight. But sadly the Jack forms, with how late in the series they are introduced, are not used much due to how hard it was back then to do flight effects. Which they didn't even really need to do, since, well, even fighting with Jack form on the ground is dead useful simply with the power boost.
君にすぐ渡すのは簡単だった。何かを掴んでから渡したかった。
人を愛してるから戦う。
Another is under construction for Tachibana as well for when he's ready, but one for Liangle's not being made, since they already have the problem of how Spider's still a threat, which would only be made worse if he got a Rouse Absorber. Noboru expands more of the nature of the undead. They were created to fight to ensure the supremacy of their species, but some of them never cared for that, Noboru among them. They only fought for their own interests, or not at all. This more defining and justifying how the Royal Club Undead have more nuances to them, their greater ranking allowing them more than just base instincts. But instead, they all had to become clever to survive, and Noboru was one of the few to just ultimately determine the conflict pointless. It's sure as hell more than we got earlier. The Spider Undead, however, realizes Noboru is their category king, once more showing how Mutsuki's stability is deteriorating now that Spider's once more pushing back to regain control with the power of that undead within its grasp. The next undead appears and... by the goddess Aura! Can it be?! While they're busy with that, Spider possesses Mutsuki and confronts Noboru. It being revealed it allowed itself to be sealed as it prefers fighting like this, through the proxy Isaka created. He and Tachibana force him to retreat, Mutsuki's mentality degrading. Tachibana tries to get him to give the belt over to Noboru so he can properly seal Spider, but Mutsuki is too far gone. Spider now part of his being. Noboru considers letting himself be sealed so he can fight off Spider's influence among the club cards, but it could just as easily result in Spider becoming more powerful than ever. Spider, however, realizes it needs its king's power if it ever wants to face the truth Hajime hides to everyone, coming to face Noboru himself. With Noboru trying to wake Mutsuki up, so, if he's sealed, his power will reinforce Mutsuki and not be to the whim of Spider. In attempting to reach the fight, Blade encounters Buffalo again and seals it effortlessly with Jack Form's power, adding another Rouse card to his arsenal. He succeeds in reaching the fight and breaking it up with Jack Form's abilities. In an attempt to get through to Mutsuki, Noboru approaches Nozomi in hopes she could assist them, only for her to be attacked by the Woodpecker Undead, forcing Noboru to reveal himself, which she takes poorly too, requiring Noboru remove her memory of the attack for her own good. Dick move and kinda villainous. The plan fails anyways, all of Noboru's words to Mutsuki ultimately falling on deaf ears, with Spider entirely consuming him. And with the others occupied with Woodpecker, Liangle shrugs off all the attempts Noboru makes to wake him up, and is ultimately sealed, the show trying to be ambiguous over who was in control when he was sealed. The Serpent Undead, amusingly played by Mio Fukuzumi, who previously played Wendy Wu in Hurricanesia where her thematic motive was also related to serpents, so good use of the actor illusion anyway, becomes the newest of the undead to stalk Hajime, having allied with the Tortoise Undead with intent to get Chalice out of the game, as his identity is beginning to circulate among the remaining undead. Unfortunately, the attacks from the pair hit hard enough to cause a memory lapse in Hajime. Can undead even have the brain trauma required for amnesia? He ends up coming across a man named Mikami, who Hajime is a dead ringer for, who is a complete wimp and subject to the whims of his overbearing girlfriend Michi, who's also running from their dumbass dad's gangs of competing food stamp workers. Mikami's family selling takoyaki, while Michi's from a family of taiyaki sellers. Their relationship comparable to a Romeo-Juliet romance, but with Mikami looking the same as Hajime, they get stuck in a Prince and Pauper storyline with the two accidentally getting their identities swapped among the relative companions by accident. Hajime's memory loss facilitating this swap has Mikami shoved into a bigger situation than he knows how to deal with no one picking up anything wrong, when they really should have, considering how shocked they are by Mikami emoting when Hajime never emotes. I'll give it this, at least it gives Hajime's actor, Ryoji Morimoto, a chance to, well, actually act in this series beyond the same stoicism he always required to do with this role. I mean, say what you will of Drive, when Taiko Katona was playing Chase, they got more emoting out of him even though he was supposed to be emotionless. Granted, this entire plot, despite having elements for narrative greatness, is freaking stupid. The two kids have escaped their relative families because they are freaking morons, thinking just putting something new in their cooked items like bananas or strawberries will be what's needed to give them an edge in the food retailing market, even though it's in contradiction to the aspects of those foods that make them delectable for those who like them. Next time you will be telling me you want pineapple on a pizza. But this episode is just so freaking weird and out of tone with everything, as it's not even a competent standalone story. Though it does show how absolutely shallow Shirai is again, that he likes the new Hajime better on solely superficial levels. At least until he's attacked by the Taurus Undead while Hajime is getting married to Michi. And now we're back into the camp of the early series where this is hilarious bad. However, Hajime's undead sense tingles, and Mikami's inability to transform allows everyone to realize what's happened with the switch. Eventually, after more rival family drama that really all feels like exaggerated caricatures as it's really hammy.
本当の名前は三上亮っていうもので。お前戦うのが怖くなったんだろう。とぼけたことを言って戦うのをやめようっていう作戦か。
This is literally against everything you have ever seen of him. What the hell, Kenzaki? But Michi's not happy about being deceived like this, deciding she likes Hajime better since him having a strong backbone has worked to solve all of their problems instead of flail in the face of them, trying to insert him as the one true Mikami.
父さんの目はごまかせるはずないだろう。
目見らわかるわ。俺の息子はお前だ。
とっとと失せる。
And as they're all idiots, they fall for it, resulting in a battle of the fried pastry sellers of the Tokyo area.
どや秘密兵器たい焼き名人アルティメットフォームや
俺は取り戻すんだそいつに勝って俺の人生を
What new spore of madness is this?
アルティメットフォームスペシャルターボ
This is so absurd I can't help but just laugh at this. But Serpent interrupts their battle, intentionally causing Hajime's memories to return, along with a realization and reminder of what he is that has been hidden.
俺は53番目の存在
In a 52 card deck. However, as the Serpent injured Michi, he gets his vengeance the only way an absolute dork can. This showcasing of backbone and defending her honor leads to the two families reconciling, showing most of their infighting could have been solved by Mikami stepping up, making everything they suffered self-inflicted. However, as Serpent was the Diamond Queen, Hajime hands it over to Tachibana, and as he received his own rouser, it's time for an upgrade.
Absorb Queen Fusion Jump
そうだお前たちが強くなればお前たちと戦うことで俺ももっと強くなれる
This arc is absolutely crazy, and I can totally understand why some people would find these to be the worst episodes of the series. It makes no sense, but it's so absurd that I just can't help but enjoy it. It feels like it's feeding back to the so bad it's good of the early side of the show, despite the lack of a dramatic tone. While it wouldn't normally fit with this show and would probably fit in a more surreal series, I ended up having fun with this little comedy of errors. We're at episode 31 now, with a man looking on at a caged beast whose only entertainment is pictures of the riders. Photos originating from a man who happens to catch sight of Mutsuki, fully possessed by Liangle, attacking officers after they stop him for being out past curfew. This man is the Caucasus undead, and he gets his amusement on sending Shirai an email containing a report on how the Kamen Riders are far more destructive to people than undead with their presence. Kenzaki tries to get the team to finally get it wrong, but fails when Tachibana decides to finally ask Hajime the loaded question. They know he wants nothing more than to battle the undead, but what happens if he wins? Nothing good, clearly. But Kenzaki doesn't see this, still wanting to believe. With the damning pictures a threat to their work in stopping the undead, however, Shirai and Shiori try to see where they originate from, eventually finding the owner, who just wrote an article on them, that is straight up Fox News and how it leads people to a false assumption that they caused the monster attacks for their own glorification. Why? It's all just a game. Yeah, he just enjoys screwing with people, playing with them as if they were his toys. Bitch, please! However, he has the Scarab undead working with him, and Scarab can stop time, freezing them all in place and permitting him to jauntily leave, while stealing Kenzaki's driver. One wonders why Scarab with his time step ability wasn't the winner of the last battle fight. I mean, as we've seen, nothing in Blade can really do anything to them. Hell, most riders can't deal with time stop powers. Then again, there's a reason why Caucasus didn't just end them. That's too easy for him. Like Noboru, he doesn't see what's really the point of senselessly murdering people. No, he plays with his food before he eats it, let everyone else whittle down their numbers, since his supreme ability is the ability of mind control, allowing him, like Isaka did with humans, to dominate the mind of any undead he wants. However, when Hajime arrives, he reveals the truth Hajime has hidden. Because there is always one in play. This leads to him fixating on Hajime, as Tachibana meets with Spider in Mutsuki's body, Spider asking for assistance in stopping Hajime before anything else. Joker, as is revealed immediately following this, was what the board gears were designed after, for as is explained, he can use the powers and take on the form of any undead. Like the Riders, gaining more power the more cards he steals into his deck, making him over time become a more and more powerful undead. This was clearly seen as advantageous to gear meant to stop all of the undead. However, Hajime has not been using the powers of the Joker throughout the series beyond replication of their forms. But really, this is like the impetus for how things keep failing for the undead, and each of them seeking a unique advantage against the higher tiers. The fear of Joker winning, at least with exception to Caucasus. He wants to face the true Joker, which is why he steals Chalice's change card, his own amusement. As Kenzaki tries to find where Hajime was taken to help him, he ends up attacked by a monster that is not an undead, or at least not one of the 53. While he beats it down, his attempt to seal it is rejected and absorbed. It retreats when Tachibana shows up, and when everyone's brought up to speed, Tachibana is disturbed upon learning Hajime is the Joker after what Spider told him. Then realizing from his use of a card to resume his human form means he sealed the human undead. Hajime is held by Caucasus, the former's attempts to free himself slowly depriving him of the cards he can play, until all that's left is his human card. And if he loses that, he'll be stuck as just another undead, with which his special power as a king, Caucasus can take control of. What finally does it is Caucasus threatening to tell Haruka and Amane about him, reveal the secret he's kept. And with it, he finally reveals the face of the wild card to finally escape. Instead of showing that though, we then shift to Tachibana being contacted by an old friend, Shiori's father, Yoshito Hirose, who we all know to be dead from prior series events. Or is he?
あなたが亡くなったものと今はしおりに会うつもりはない。私の目的は今でもアンデッドの不死の秘密を解くことなんだ。人間が死の恐怖から逃れるために。
You freaking idiot! Are you ready to cut the crap now? Do you really think anyone else is okay with this?
Yoshito alerts him to the danger Kenzaki has in his association with Joker, letting him into sealed data files from the board mainframe, as Yoshito is revealed to be behind the monster that attacked earlier, the Trial B Artificial Undead, a result of his research into surpassing death itself, which he sends after Kenzaki again. Spider comes to the weakened Hajime, intent on sealing Hajime so his threat will be removed from the board, but Hajime refuses to take Joker's form. Mutsuki then trying to get Kenzaki to help him stop Hajime. But...
最後の一匹までアンデッドを追い求めるだけの冷酷な殺戮マシンだぞ。今は君がそう見える。
He's not wrong. Hard to side with a guy that's shown to be a monster versus one who's helped others. But this has all gotten Kenzaki curious about what his secret is, which is revealed that it was him sealing the human undead, thus making it so humanity will by default lose the battle fight. He reveals that Joker was defeated by the human undead early in the battle fight 10,000 years past, and Joker, using the powers of the other heart undead, sought him out. But seeing his race having flourished, the human didn't resist. However, this was actually part of humans' own plan. With the prosperity of his race, he was a way to turn the Joker to their advantage, by imposing humanity's spirit onto him to render the Joker a non-player in the conflict with use of humanity's compassions and camaraderie to influence him. in the same way Noboru, as a tarantula, hoped to save Mutsuki from his category ace. And that plan has only faltered with the fact all of Hajime's cards have been stolen. Caucasus and Scarab attack shoppers in hopes of drawing Hajime out, but when Kenzaki phases him, Hajime sees that Caucasus is able to move while time is stopped. Why? Well, Caucasus is wearing something of Scarab's on his body, and apparently whatever originates from the Scarab is immune to his powers of time stop, so anyone wearing a piece of cloth from it is immune to the effects, at least they think, which is shown to be true. That is a massive narrative cop-out and nonsensical weakness to such a power. Things touching the user of Time Stop I get. The proximity of the immunity field that expands around them when the effect starts up, thus providing them protection. But wearing something in no way attached to them or originates from them, like, say, blood, as was seen of, say, the time manipulation from All You Need Is Kill, where the protagonist got coded into the alien enemy's time reset effect? Well, without stuff like that, that's where it becomes problematic for me. And I'd find that complete and utter bullshit, but in this show, it's been reasoned out from evidence presented. They're not the ones that made that power up, they just thought of the only way it could be from what they could see going on, so internally it makes sense. But externally, not so much. Apparently, though, this whole cheat for screwing with the domination of time powers, yeah, this is apparently a cop-out that dates all the way back to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders original manga run in Japanese media, so I can't exactly fault Blade for making use of it. Exide's various situations for getting around pause, though, are vastly better handled. And then there was one. However, with all but human of Hajime's cards stolen, he now risks falling under the sway of the power of Joker. And that's a danger Tachibana cannot abide.
バトルファイトが終わった後に生き残る命は全くない。ジョーカーはいかなる生物の始祖でもない。ジョーカーが最後に勝ち残った時、人類だけでなく全ての生命を滅ぶ。
Kenzaki tries to stop this, but Hajime is understanding. Though Kenzaki tries to ask for more time to find a solution, as he knows Hajime himself isn't a horrible person. See? This is why I like Kenzaki. He can actually accept the reality of a situation, and yet strive to find a better one to avoid the worst case scenario. And if he would fail to find a better one, will accept what he must do to not be culpable in people dying. It's naive, but he's not ignoring the problem, as Toei has so often done with their truly unforgivable idiot protagonists in recent years, whose actions and ideals should be ending in people getting murdered. Hell, again, this is why Shinji Kito's a terrible writer. His principles were more important to him than people's lives. We do not have that problem with Kenzaki. Nonetheless, he agrees this is a problem that needs a solution. But what he's asking here is just more time. And he's going to fight for that chance, as he is someone resolute in wanting to help anyone and everyone, no matter what it might cost him personally in the end. Both Jack Form writers engage each other, Yoshito observing the battle, constructing the newest trial form to counter Kenzaki's apparent ability to draw out the power of the undead combinations, even more than his compatriots due to his synchronicity with the system. But as Kenzaki wins, Joker's power begins to emerge from Hajime. Kenzaki freely tells the others about this and how Hajime loathes his Joker powers.
あいつはジョーカーに戻りたくない。だから人類を滅ぼすこともない。俺はそう信じてる。
Tachibana meets with Yoshito again. The man explained that he's not concerned about Joker like everyone else is. It's Kenzaki that's the bigger problem, revealing he's behind the not undead from earlier, the Trial series. Beings able to live forever and made from a mixture of undead and human cells. Basically, they are cheats for the system, and he's sending them after Kenzaki to take the blade buckle from him, as him continuing to transform is dangerous due to his high fusion coefficients. Caucasus finds something to amuse him by beating up a bunch of punks, the undead detector tipping Kenzaki off to his location, so he can attempt to reclaim Hajime's cards. Caucasus is amused by this since, with Hajime lacking the cards, he's slowly losing to the Joker within him, just as he wants. However, even Jack form isn't enough to beat Caucasus. Caucasus musing that his faltered resolve might be the conflict between opposing goals. Saving humanity requires sacrificing Hajime, but sacrificing an ally with a mutual goal, doesn't that defeat the purpose of trying to help people? He doesn't have the time to muse on that, as he's attacked by the newest of the Trial Undead, managing to take it down, but doesn't realize once more that throwing a ceiling card into it just reactivates it instead of leaving it prone, resulting in him needing to escape. However, Trials are merciless in their goal, going on full slasher villain and grappling onto the top of a vehicle to pursue them, right up until he's confronted by Tachibana. He points out the chaos he's caused and those they've endangered, but it's a strawman argument since Trial was responsible for that, saying he's the exact wrong person with his mentality to be a writer. I can name many who have been worse. But that's all said with intent to make him quit, and thus why it fails, making him decide to just go it alone so no one else close will get hurt, which is what Hajime has done thus far, which defeats the entire purpose of Tachibana's decision to side with Yoshito. And worse, this has all prevented Kenzaki from focusing on helping Hajime suppress Joker, meaning when Mutsuki comes after him again... If you're wondering how he still has a card, Kenzaki gave him Wolf earlier. It's just one he never passed back over in the previous events, thus Caucasus couldn't steal it. I admit, I didn't catch that the first time around, but it allows him to force away Liangle. Caucasus says the exact opposite when Mutsuki finds Nozomi in his care, not realizing he's being manipulated for Caucasus' own amusement to draw out Joker. Though at this point, he should probably be bugging Tachibana to unseal the Bat Undead. But he gives Mutsuki all of Hajime's cards to turn them into enemies for their confrontation. Tachibana tells the others to stay away from Kenzaki, that he's a danger to everyone, but it's a lie with intent to allow them all to get the belt away from him. Shiori, for one, not buying it, and finding him, asking if he really thinks he's a danger to everyone.
Kamen Rider はみんなを守らなくちゃいけないのに俺がいるから被害が広がるなんてそれじゃライダー失格だ
Once again, fuck Shinji Kido. Really, this entire arc has been trying to throw doubt on the mission of the Riders, but it doesn't handle it very well, as it's not actually showing them screwing up in their mission, just a few factors making things harder and obfuscating the truth. Thus, nothing really demoralizing happens. But Shiori doesn't buy any of this as the reason why he's left them. He's only fought as well as he has with their support. They are what keeps him connected, and why he fights as well as he does. To isolate himself is to lose that connection, and fall just as the undead have.
私たちはずっとあなたを見てきた。他の誰かが否定しても、私たちだけは言える。あなたは仮面ライダーだって。
And hell, she's already found Caucasus for him, using the same method by which Caucasus has been slandering their image. The power of the interwebs. Thus, in this final battle with Caucasus, even if he loses all of his Rouse cards, with his resolve restored by the faith of his friends, Kenzaki's fusion rate reaches a whole new tier, and he tears apart Caucasus.
たとえカードが一枚もなくてもお前は封印できるはずだ戦えない全ての人のために俺が戦う
Game over. All of the Spadesuit Undead have been sealed. But this only increases his danger, Yoshito sending another trial after him, making him decide to use the power of Caucasus as his own.
気をつけなよレンゲルのように封印したつもりで 僕に支配されないようにね。
エボリューションキング。
King form is absolutely badass, and one of the few times a gold-colored final form rider form has actually worked. Harnessing all of the Spade undead simultaneously into a form which boosts his powers through the roof, and allowing him to use the ultimate rouse combinations.
Spade 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. Royal Straight Flash.
The attack entirely obliterates the Trial B in one shot, King form having the power to utterly destroy artificial undead. However, this is exactly what Yoshito was afraid of and trying to stop. For Joker doesn't just grow stronger when he can use more unsealed undead, he grows stronger in response to other undead becoming stronger. The residents of all 13 Spade undead becoming active like this at once, awakening the Joker within him. And worse, no person can contain the power of all 13 suit undead like this, and while it's not specifically said here, it has the potential of turning him into a true monstrosity no one can stop. Kenzaki collapses, taken in by a bystander named Umi Ikuhara. Played by Shoji Megumi, who I recognize from the live-action Space Battleship Yamato movie and the Death Note films, the sequels of which are still on my list. Umi happens to be a fan that was there when Caucasus was confronted, and stuck around to see the whole battle, taking him in when he fainted. She asks why he does it, which leads once again to show Aikawa not understanding how his character works, as he says he's doing it for a paycheck. Umi in turn reveals she is a runaway, asking him be her hero for a day, and blackmailing him with his rouse cards which she's stolen.
Moshi.
Oi! Yada, Ecchi! Ecchi? Gomen, しばらく帰れないから.
Oh, now Shiori's pissed. However, this could not be at a worse time, for as revealed when the jellyfish tries to attack people, the Joker has awoken. Emi continues acting like a little brat, throwing herself into traffic and selfishly demanding things of him. Kenzaki forced to take it because that's what a hero would do, right? No. Heroes help people that are in trouble. You're not in trouble. You're acting like a bitchy girlfriend. Yoshito and Tachibana test the next of the Trial series, Trial E, Tachibana finding bits of himself having been cloned into this new unit. Yoshito trying to justify the decision by revealing the trials can be made stronger using the genes of those who sync with undead like them. Yoshito thinking Tachibana's jealousy of Kenzaki's ability will end up making it stronger.
I'm not jealous. I'm envious. Jealousy is when you're worried someone will take what you have. Envy is wanting what someone else has. What I feel is envy.
Regardless, as Mutsuki makes his own plans to fight Joker, Kenzaki finds himself attacked by Joker. And without his rouse cards to help him, it's only Hajime's wish to not hurt anyone that keeps any fatalities from happening in his rampage. Umi, however, despite her life being endangered from her nonsense, has not learned anything, meaning her nonsense with him will continue onwards.
案外気持ちのいいもんだろう、人間の世界って。
俺はあんたのように人間に媚びを売っては生きない。
君はあの親子を愛し始めている。